What if I told you that the iPhone that's recording me right now was actually the product of blind chance? See, there was this factory with a bunch of plastic and metal and computer parts, and it just exploded and randomly created this iPhone.
That's really dumb. That's not how the formation of planets or evolution even works. Generally, this argument is employed by people suggesting that God created everything, including humans. The difference is that we have natural processes to explain how life evolved, how planets formed, and how our universe in general came into existence. This whole argument is commonly referred to as a false analogy fallacy, because we don't have natural processes to explain how iPhones can come into existence without the need for some intelligent being to create them.
Now, you would obviously say that that's a ridiculous claim, and you would be right. But atheists believe in something even more ridiculous than that, because they believe the entire human body is the result of blind chance and randomness.
Not exactly. He's making it out to be like the process of evolution is just shit coming together haphazardly. The human body developed slowly over time and from preceding organisms. The entire human body didn't have to come together all at once. That's a creationist idea. God fashioned Adam out of dirt and then blew life into him. Evolution is a long process taking billions of years of slow, gradual steps. These two ideas are not the same. Given this, it's not blind chance or all that random. The mutations that happen are random, but it's not random which mutations allow organisms to survive in the environment that they exist in.
In fact, an atheist named Sir Fred Hoyle once calculated the odds of life arising in nature without any intelligent design whatsoever. And he calculated that the chance of a single cell arising in nature is 1 in 10 to the 40,000th power. That is a 1 with 40,000 zeros after it. And that number's so big, I'm not even going to try to fit that on the screen.
But it's not zero, and that's an important fact. Is life incredibly unlikely? Yes. As far as we know, we're the only living organisms in this universe. More than likely, we're not the only kind of life that has ever evolved in the universe. But if we were, then that would make us incredibly unlikely. That doesn't mean that life wouldn't have evolved eventually. It just means that there's very little life in the vast universe we exist within. And given how many planets there are hypothesized to be in the known universe, life more than likely has arisen elsewhere. Essentially, this is an argument from big and small numbers. He's using big and small numbers in order to make it seem like some outcome is impossible. Incredibly small percentages of some event happening to a large enough set is going to guarantee that those events do eventually happen. And we know this because that's how probability works.
Now, Hoyle was talking about the chance of just one cell being formed in nature, much less the entire human body. The human body is made up of over 60,000 miles of blood vessels, a heart that beats 100,000 times a day, eyeballs that see in higher definition than the most complex cameras, kidneys that filter 50 gallons of fluid every day, and trillions of cells that all work together to keep you alive. To believe that this all came about by chance is a delusion.
That's really weird because what I've argued here is that while it's an incredibly small chance that life would arise in general, it did in fact arise on this planet. Once life arose, then evolution took over. Evolution is a slow and gradual process, and the human body is an intermediary form that developed from organisms that preceded it. There was a slow process that produced the human bodies that we have today. What this apologist is trying to do is apply his own creationist sense of how things come into existence and then trying to shift that onto the natural explanations that we have. He seems to only be able to consider the spontaneous creation of items from intelligent beings. And honestly, I think that it's delusional to think that human beings were created from dirt and ribs, or that the earth was spontaneously created via an incantation spoken by an old sky wizard.
Every human body is a marvel that is fearfully and wonderfully made by God.
Really? Because, like, there's genetic diseases that show that the human body is not wonderfully made. We should expect genetic diseases and birth abnormalities from natural processes, because natural processes are imperfect. We shouldn't expect that from a perfect creator. Of course, typically the apologist's comeback for that is that we are the ones that caused genetic diseases and imperfections like that to be introduced into our reality because, you know, Eve ate that fruit and such. Saying that the human body is wonderfully made is a tone-deaf statement that totally ignores how imperfect the human body actually is if it were designed by a perfect being.